This is the only film where Jackie Chan's character does not survive to the end. Despite the film's star-studded legendary ensemble cast, hardly any of the actors were there of their own free will. Rumor has it that before filming, Andy Lau received a bullet script. Even Tony Leung-Ka-Fai was reportedly abducted and forced onto the set. Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung even performed with zero remuneration, supposedly to return a favor as the film's investor had ties to both Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung. However, to truly understand Island of Fire, one must first know two key figures, Ko Chun and Hae-Cheung and Jimmy Wang Yu. They were more than just veteran actors. They were influential Big Brother figures of that era, whose connections and power had long since permeated the film industry. It is said that this film, produced by Jimmy Wang Yu, was based on true events, making the behind-the-scenes story even more gripping than the plot. Now allow me to provide an in-depth analysis of this classic film, which holds a 6/7 rating from over 20 viewers. Film opens with Hong Kong police officer Wai, played by Tony Leung-Ka-Fai. One day, he is dispatched to Taiwan to investigate a peculiar case, and coincidentally, Wai's future father-in-law also lives in Taiwan. Furthermore, he's the local police commissioner. Upon arriving in Taiwan, Wai visits his future father-in-law for dinner. After the meal, his girlfriend braves a torrential rain to drive him back to his hotel. Just as the two of them get into the car, they spot a stranger approaching the father-in-law to speak with him, only for the man to suddenly draw a gun and assassinate him. Witnessing this, Wai immediately draws his weapon and fires at the killer. The killer attempts to flee in a car, but strangely, the vehicle suddenly explodes. In an instant, both the assassin and the father-in-law perished that same night. However, what's truly mind-boggling is this. When Wai went to the police to check the killer's background, he discovered the man had already been executed by firing squad 3 months ago.
The killer was executed 3 months ago. It was simply unbelievable.
This was a calculated assassination. While a dead man supposedly executed somehow returned to kill again. Either the computer records were tampered with, or something was wrong with the prison.
To uncover the truth, he had to investigate from within the prison itself. But an official inquiry would surely lead to a dead end. So Wai decided to get himself incarcerated to investigate the shady truth behind his father-in-law's murder. He intentionally started a brawl at a bar and was quickly sentenced to prison for assault, just as he planned. However, the brutal environment of the prison still daunted him. Fortunately, his cellmate Piggy was a soft-spoken guy. Piggy warned him to prepare for tonight's duel. As it turns out, there's an unwritten rule in this prison. Newcomers must face the strongest inmate in a one-on-one fight on their first day. The others watch and place bets on the outcome for entertainment.
What if I refuse to fight? The whole block will jump you tonight, and you'll be everyone's bitch from then on.
That night, Wai had no choice but to bite the bullet and face the duel. Even the guards arrived early to watch the spectacle, and RG placed a bet that Wai could last at least 30 seconds. If Wai was still standing after 30 seconds, he would win at high odds of 1 to 20. As the fight began, Wai was immediately overwhelmed. However, drawing on his police training, he resisted fiercely. He managed to land a couple of blows, but the gap in size and strength was just too vast. In the end, Wai was no match for his opponent. Knowing he had bet heavily on him, he endured the beating and held on for the full 30 seconds. Soon, Wai finally lasted the 30 seconds, winning the bet for RG, while being severely injured himself. Saying this, RG was consumed with guilt. The next day, RG received a letter from his son. It said that shortly after he was in prison, his wife remarried and his son was sent to boarding school. However, his son's birthday was only a few days away. Desperate to see his son on his special day, he began plotting his escape. Using the excuse of cooking for the guards, he slipped into the kitchen. With a series of fluid and masterful culinary moves, he caught the interest of the nearby guards. Catching them off guard, he knocked them out and swapped into a guard uniform. But due to the size difference, he burst right through the shoes. Just as he stepped outside, RG ran into a patrol officer, and the hole in his shoe was immediately spotted by a police dog. The guard instantly realized something was wrong. He struck first, and with a few swift moves, took down both the guard and the dog. Next, he hijacked a passerby's car and stole their clothes. After many twists and turns, he finally managed to escape and see his son. He got his wish to spend the birthday with him, however. The joy was short-lived. The guard soon tracked the stolen car, and just like that, he was recaptured after a brutal round of punishment. The warden stood before him to deliver a lecture.
Above is God, below him is me. Then the dogs, you're lower than dogs. Don't cross me, understand? Apologies to him now, move it.
Under the warden's pressure, G was forced to apologize to the dog he had injured, humbly bowing to a dog to admit his mistake. Meanwhile, in the bustling world outside the prison, famous billiards player Long is watching his model girlfriend's runway show unexpectedly. Someone suddenly threatens him from behind, demanding that he fix tomorrow's billiards match, insisting he lose on purpose or face dire consequences. However, the hot-blooded Long refuses to be intimidated by their power. In the following match, Long clears the table in a single break. Seeing Long's refusal to cooperate, the thugs quickly seek their revenge. During the scuffle, Long's girlfriend is tragically stabbed in the kidney. The doctor informs him that she needs immediate surgery to have a chance at survival, but a deposit of several $100,000 is required before they can operate. With time running out, Long decides to risk everything at a casino. After a while, he finally wins enough to cover his girlfriend's expensive surgery. Having won the money, Long tries to leave the casino immediately, but the losing casino owner refuses to pay, accusing him of cheating as an excuse. To intercept him, tensions explode instantly between the two sides, and in the ensuing fight, the casino owner is accidentally stabbed to death. It turns out, the dead owner was actually Hua's younger brother. The high-ranking is enraged, vowing to kill Long in revenge. Long is subsequently sent to prison for manslaughter. The prison bully Dalin has already received orders from Hua to eliminate him. On Long's first day, Dalin picks a treat out of his own nose and drops it into Long's food. Not wanting trouble, Long remains silent. Then stands up to leave. He dumps the meal out, but moments later, while Aaron was getting a drink, another brute appeared and lunged at him with a knife. Aaron dodged quickly and forced the man's hand into the scalding water. A second later, Aaron was ambushed from behind by other thugs. Caught off guard, Aaron was stabbed several times. Dalin then rushed forward to deliver the finishing blow. In the nick of time, Wei intervened and saved Aaron's life. The prison guards arrived just then to break up the fight. The inmates quickly kicked the weapons out of sight. Seeing this, Xiaoju leaned down to pick one up. Wei reported to the warden that they had attacked Aaron and were still carrying weapons. However, the guards found nothing when they searched the men. Saying this, Xiaoju bravely stepped forward to testify against them, producing the knife they had just used. Consequently, Dalin's gang was put in solitary confinement for 10 days, and the negligent guard was ordered to write a 50-word self-reflection. From that moment on, Wei and Xiaoju were on the hit list of both Dalin and the guards. The next day, the prison's real kingpin finished his stint in solitary. As a big boss style, is everything not a hair out of place. Before stepping out, he used duck egg whites as pomade. He's back at the top. With egg whites in hand, he rules his world.
You only rule through fear. How can you even compare?
When Bosky emerged, the entire prison erupted in cheers, watching the inmates carry Bosky in a frenzied celebration. The warden was so furious he nearly ground his teeth to dust. Later, as Bosky received updates on prison affairs from his men, he learned that Wei had been asking about a deceased assassin. From this, Bosky concluded that was a police undercover. Seeing the calluses on Wei's index finger from trigger friction, Bosky became even more certain that he was an undercover cop. Wei leaked, claiming he was once a professional marksman, and that the hitman he sought was an old friend who owed him a fortune. However, Bosky didn't buy these flimsy excuses, so he decided to torture Wei to extract a confession.
Bosky, if I talk now, they'll find an excuse to come after you. I can't take it anymore.
If you're really here to collect a debt, let me tell you, has been executed. The debt dies with him. But if not, I'll be keeping a close eye on you.
With sheer willpower, Wei finally managed to bluff his way through. Soon Dalin was released after 10 days in solitary confinement, immediately plotting revenge against Wei, Xiaoju, and Long. Upon learning of their grievances, Bosky decided to act as a peacemaker. But Dalin insisted that Long killing Hua's brother couldn't be easily settled. Hearing this, Bosky immediately slashed his own arm with a knife.
I have shed this blood on behalf of our brother Steel Ball.
Saying that Bosky was determined to protect Long, Dalin had no choice but to settle the grudge. As the Lunar New Year approached, Ji, desperate to be with his son, once again plotted his escape. Taking advantage of an outdoor work detail, he made his move. Bosky, who had already conspired with him, quickly hopped into the vehicle. Strangely, the prison section chief ordered the guards to hold their fire clearly. This prison break was a setup. By nightfall, the two had holed up in an abandoned shackle, believing they would escape by boat the next morning and finally be free. Unexpectedly, the wail of police sirens suddenly drifted in from outside. It turned out that Ji had betrayed Bosky.
Why? I'm sorry my son's leg is broken. I promised him I'd visit for the new year. They said they'd only send you back to solitary and wouldn't do anything to you.
Bosky didn't react much to Ji's betrayal. With a look of calm resignation, he walked out the door to surrender. Unexpectedly, the prison guards outside opened fire and gunned down Boss Gi. Witnessing this, G was furious at being used. He immediately confronted the section chief for breaking his word.
I'm going to report you.
Not if you still want to see your son. If the others find out you betrayed old Gi, you'll meet a miserable end.
Hearing this, G instantly lost the courage to resist. However, he knew the section chief's character all too well. Even if he didn't expose the fact that the chief murdered Boss Gi, Chief would still never let him leave to see his son. So he once again plotted to escape. He found an opportunity to sneak away in a police car again. When he saw guards blocking the way, G floored the accelerator and crashed right through. The guard was killed on the spot while the car flipped several times before coming to a halt. Ultimately, G was sentenced to death for the escape and the killing of the guard. Meanwhile, outside the prison, Hua received word that Long, the man who killed his brother, was actually still alive in prison. It turned out Boss Gi had intervened as a mediator. That was why Dalin hadn't dared to strike to finish Long off quickly. Hua decided to enter the prison and do the job himself. Upon learning of this, Dalin and the others hurried to welcome him. Unlike the others, Hua didn't have to follow any newcomer etiquette. He was even followed by a pack of henchmen who obeyed his every command. When he saw Long standing there, unscathed, he immediately took out his anger on the useless Dalin.
He's only alive because you failed to find him.
Not wanting to escalate things, Long tried to apologize to Hua during dinner.
Even though your brother's death wasn't my fault, I'm willing to apologize to you.
Words mean nothing when someone is dead. A debt of blood must be paid in blood.
Hua refused the apology. So the guards arranged for the two of them to duel that night. Hua struck first, but Long only dodged without counterattacking. He retreated while fighting. It was obvious that he had no interest in this duel with Hua, but Hua didn't hold back at all, relentlessly attacking Long with a knife. Every move was a killing blow. Long finally caught the blade and kicked him away. The guards watched the scene with sadistic excitement. Zhiying Hua's relentless lethal strikes from start to finish. Long, having been stabbed several times, finally snapped and lunged forward to seize the dagger. Long's sudden counter-offensive, Hua was quickly overwhelmed.
No! Fight!
Hit him. Hearing the guard's sadistic jeers, Long flew into a rage and hurled the dagger toward the guards. Perhaps driven by the inhumane prison rules, Long snapped and recklessly attacked the section chief. Seeing this, Hua also immediately tried to climb to the second floor, but was shot by a guard from behind. Meanwhile, Long was beaten to the ground by a swarm of guards. The bruised section chief then tried to finish Long off with his gun. Fortunately, Hua stepped in to stop him and issued a warning. If he dared to shoot Long, Hua would report him. At this point, the section chief had no choice but to suppress his rage. Let Long go. But Hua had now become a major thorn in his side. Then, on what should have been a festive New Year's Eve, the section chief set his plan for revenge against Hua into motion. He handed Dalin a syringe filled with gasoline, ordering him to inject the liquid gasoline into a light bulb, and then secretly install it in Hua's cell. However, Hua shared his cell with Xiaoju, also known as Piggy. At that moment, Piggy suddenly decided to return to the cell. Hearing footsteps, Dalin immediately hid under the bed. When Piggy returned and switched on the light bulb exploded violently. Piggy was instantly engulfed in flames. Despite the guards' efforts with fire extinguishers, they couldn't save him. Just then, Hua spotted Dalin sneaking out of the cell. Certain that Dalin was the culprit, a furious Hua grabbed him and began a brutal assault until guards pulled him away, realizing the plot was exposed. The section chief moved to silence his accomplice with a few strikes. He bashed Dalin's head open and ordered his men to drag him away.
You're not trying to silence me. You're the one who told me to kill Huang Wei. Piggy was just a scapegoat.
Seeing Dalin trying to take him down with him, the section chief decided to finish him off on the spot. Hearing the truth and enraged, Hua immediately charged at the section chief, hoisting him up in the air. Slamming him onto the ground, guards and inmates immediately descended into a massive brawl. In the chaos, Y snatched a pistol and fired several shots at the section chief in a fit of rage. Just like that, Y was sentenced to death for killing a law enforcement officer. However, to everyone's surprise, Y was given a second lease on life 2 days later. It turns out his execution was merely a ruse staged by the warden, designed to deceive the public and hide his existence, so they could exploit Y to do their dirty work.
This is your funeral. Your ashes are buried in Cemetery 16, and here is your death certificate. We kept you alive because we want to recruit you. You are now member 24 of the Qingfeng team. We've been watching you for a long time. You possess superior endurance and a sense of justice. You just haven't utilized them properly.
The warden stated that in today's society too many people exploit legal loopholes. This allows heinous criminals to evade justice and remain at large. The Qingfeng team is tasked with eliminating such individuals.
The Qingfeng team is the organization that carries out the task of eradicating this human scum, fighting fire with fire, ensuring they don't go unpunished. Now the state is drafting you into the Qingfeng team to rid society of these evils. Once you complete your mission, we will provide you with a new ID and passport, allowing you to start a new life wherever you choose.
Y had no choice. Officially, he had already been executed. He no longer had a legal identity. Now, he could only follow the warden's orders to earn a second chance at life. Soon the warden assigned Y an assassination mission. His fellow operatives were all familiar faces from the prison. He, the serial escapee who killed a guard. Long, who attacked a guard, and Hua, who was jailed for a gang brawl. Their mission was to assassinate a Southeast Asian drug lord, who was about to be extradited to stand trial. Since the drug lord Sama had already bribed the entire jury and the judge, Zoshama must be eliminated before he boards the plane. During the operation, they seize the right moment and successfully take him out. Next, they just need to get into the getaway car, meet their contact for new identities and passports, and start their lives anew. However, as Y witnesses the scene unfolding, he realizes it is hauntingly similar to the night his father-in-law was murdered. Amidst the chaos and the ticking clock, enemy reinforcements pour into the airport in a steady stream. Desperate to escape, G manages to take a high-ranking official hostage, demanding a plane for their getaway. Y soon boards the plane to wait for the others, but the opposing forces have already completely surrounded the area. Numerous snipers have their sights locked onto G and his hostage. Zing. G get hit. Y immediately opens fire on the official. With the hostage gone, the enemy launches a relentless assault. A whole squad sprays them with gunfire soon. Yi is riddled with a hail of bullets. Long is hit next. Seeing this, Hua rushes to support him. In the end, both are gunned down in a hail of lead. Ultimately, only Y manages to escape on the plane. Later, Vi confronts the warden to settle the score.
Using death row inmates for your missions, then silencing them afterward. A truly flawless plan. You never expected me to make it back alive, did you?
With the scheme exposed, the warden tries to buy Y's silence with his resources.
Take the money and disappear. No one in this world will ever know how about it.
That's quite an enticing offer. I'm just curious, why did you do it?
Shama was my partner. If he's brought back, I'm a dead man.
What about Song Da-hong, the Inspector General of the police department? Why did you kill him?
He was investigating me. He would have ruined my plans.
Mid-conversation, the warden seized the chance to grab a pistol from the cabinet. He aimed at Y, but when he pulled the trigger, it clicked empty. Little did he know, Y had already removed the bullets. Just as Y was about to finish off the warden, police officers investigating the warden burst through the door. They handcuffed the corrupt official and brought him to justice for his crimes. The truth behind the murder of Y's father-in-law had finally come to light. Although Island of Fire, released in 1991, featured a star-studded cast, the film's box office performance and critical reception fell short of expectations. Director Chu Yanping later recorded in an interview with a wry smile that he had very little creative control on set. The set was crowded with industry heavyweights. Ko Kun, Xiong, and Jimmy Wan Yu were already highly prestigious veterans. Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Andy Lau, and Tony Leung Fai were already leading figures in Hong Kong cinema. Each of them had their own artistic visions and filming habits. Consequently, the director had little authority. Scenes were filmed based on whoever was available at the time. This directly resulted in the film's fragmented narrative. Furthermore, Jackie Chan reportedly had very limited time on set. Many of his action sequences and wide shots were performed by stunt doubles. This was extremely rare for Chan, who is famous for doing his own stunts. This might have been due to his tight schedule, or perhaps a reluctant response to being pressured into this favor film. Various factors led to disappointing box office results and reviews. The core themes of the story remain worth reflecting upon. The film is said to be based on certain real-life events. That concludes today's video. May good luck be with you. I'm Hua, Zhiying, and I'll see you in the next one.